So today we're going to be spending time on the provider website, and particularly in the reports area, where we're going to show you how you're going to learn about which of your participants has submitted our new online PIF. So the most important part for you folks is to learn where do you see this information and how do you keep track of your participants that have signed up for programs and whether or not they've completed this information. We're going to navigate to the Reports tab, and we're going to query for a program number. I'm logged in to our test system as our UK office, and we're going to pull up a program, and we're going to access our new report. So we're going to be looking at our January 3rd departure of program 19346, and we're going to go and pull up our new report, the Participant Information Report. As you see, it tells you it's the participant health and safety information. So I'll scroll down, and for now we're going to leave it to view on screen. We'll come back later and talk about downloading the information. So we're going to get the report. Now you should all be seeing a page that says Participant Information Entry. And this is a list of the registrants for this January 3rd departure. And you'll have all your enrolled people first, and at the bottom of the list will be anybody waitlisted or those who have canceled and transferred out. So it's always a comprehensive list of your enrollees. When people access their online PIF, they will be able to update it and make some entries to it and save it as a work in progress, if you will. And if they've done that, we'll be able to see that with a date. If they've submitted it, meaning they've completed all the required fields and they're ready to submit it to us and then to you, of course, you will then see a submitted date. So the form itself allows them to go into the form and make some entries, but they're not really done yet, so they can come back and finish it at a later time. So if something is submitted, they've essentially said, yes, I'm ready to transmit this to Road Scholar and to my provider. We can see who submitted it, and in some cases, if it's a staff person or you, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, it might have something other than the participant's name there. We'll skip over paper for now. We can see their PIF status, and there'll be three different things you'll see in this column. You will see online, if the participant has accepted to do their PIFs online. The first time they visit a PIF, they'll be asked to agree to the terms of doing this information or submitted this information electronically. If they say they don't want to do it electronically and say, no, I don't want to do it, you will see the word mail there. That's the equivalent of the person saying, no, I'm not comfortable doing things online, I don't want to put my information into a computer, I want the old-fashioned paper. And then if it's blank, essentially they've done neither. They've neither accepted the terms of doing a PIF online nor have done mail. Maybe they haven't read their email yet, maybe they don't understand what they're supposed to do, but essentially anything that's blank means they haven't really opted in or out. They haven't made a conscious choice either way. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually look at a couple of different records. As I said, if somebody is indicated here as male, you can expect that they're going to want a paper PIF form and they're going to complete a paper PIF form. Those of you who are on the automated prep map project, our system is smart enough to know who needs paper and who doesn't. So anyone who's opted in for the online PIF, we won't waste paper printing out a mail form for them. But if they haven't opted in or they've opted out, we will send them the paper. So just as you do today, you'll have to somewhat chase people who don't get to what you need. And there will be a transition, of course, now, because we have some people in the old world of doing things on paper and we're moving toward more automation, that there will always be people who enroll later and don't get the materials or they've opted out. Hopefully over time, though, those will be fewer. So what we want to do, we're going to look at a PIF for somebody that hasn't yet submitted. So that would either be Charlotte Booten here or Foster, because they've both started the work but haven't submitted it, or Paulette Pepin down here. She updated her form but has not yet said, yep, it's ready to be the final version. So we just click on her name. Hopefully everybody is now seeing the Rhodes Scholar webpage with Ms. Pepin's participant information form. I'll scroll down the page. We can see her information, her order number, the program number, and so forth. So you are actually accessing her form. We can see what she has entered. As a provider, though, we've added 2 extra fields. In this box is an area where you can enter notes on behalf of the participant. We have a note about the participant and a note about the specific order. Neither of these will be seen by Ms. Pepin or the participants. They're just for internal use. We can see here the example we have about the participant. We've entered a note that Paulette often travels with her brother who has the same last name, and they're very often confused as a married couple. So when they share a room, they'd prefer two beds as opposed to 1. So this is a note that you can enter about the participant that might be something other providers might like to know. Otherwise, we give you an area to enter notes about this specific order, this specific participation. So we have an example that Ms. Pepin is out of the country and called you and let you know that her forms are going to be late. So you could use this area to enter that kind of information. Again, in this case, this note will only be seen by you for this order because it's very specific to the order. But anything you add about the participant will be shared by all other providers. Now, down below all of this information are all the fields that we are requesting from participants. So you can see what they've filled out so far. They have not yet submitted it, so it's still a work in progress. And you can see all the different areas. Now, going back to the provider website, where we have, again, our list of all the registrants, you may get a paper form from someone. We very much expect that, at least for the transition. So what we've done is we've given you a tool. This paper column with the little check boxes is a way for you to indicate that you have, in fact, received the information from the participant. Let's say Catherine here, you got her form in the mail. You go ahead and check the box and scroll down to the bottom and click Save. This will also prevent us from sending out reminders to Catherine that her PIF is missing. So it's equivalent of us being able to know that you indeed have the forms and we don't have to be concerned that they're missing. If you do have time, however, we'd ask you to take the next step, which would be to access Catherine's PIF itself. Again, I'm going to click the link. If you have the time and you have their completed form, you can come to her participant information form, enter any notes that you might have on your own behalf, but then go ahead and complete the information on her behalf. Come to the bottom, and we have both a Save, Progress, and Submit. What you would do if you, in fact, have a complete form, you would check off the agreement statement on their behalf. You're filling out the form on their behalf, and you click Submit, and then in our system that will also track that you have the form and it's all been entered into the system. Essentially, Save Progress is if you're entering information and you don't think you're going to finish it all in one sitting, it allows you to save what you have so far and you can come back and finish it. But generally, if you're sitting down with an entire form, you'd probably fill it out in one sitting, click the checkbox, and click Submit, and that'll change the indication in our system so we'll know that that form is all set. We've created for you a comprehensive report that will take all of the PIFs for all of your participants into one PDF document, and it's going to be broken down by pages, so each person will have 1 or 2 pages depending on the amount of information that's stored. You'll click the link up here in the top of the page, and it will launch a PDF report. So all of you should now be seeing a PDF document called the Rhodes Scholar Participant Information Report. It will be time and date stamped, so if you print one last week and you put it on your desk and you print another one, you'll know the difference. Essentially, each participant is listed. with all the information that is compiled on the PIF, their full name, their nickname if they've given us one, some information about them as a participant, their name and address, so forth, legal names, and we'll talk about passports a little bit later. Emergency contacts, that is one part of the form. They can tell us some contacts. They can give us valid date ranges, so if part of the year their daughter's the contact and another part of the year another family member, they can give us that information. The health and medical information will all show, and this is, again, all based on what their responses were on the PIF itself. And we don't have the page break in the right place, but we will. And then we get passports and visas, which would only be, of course, applicable for programs that go outside the states or have visas required by other countries. And the travel-related section, for domestic programs, of course, we're asking people how they're going to get to the program, and they have ways to tell us their flights, so they're coming by car, what time are they leaving their home, and so forth. International, if we are doing their airfare, we don't ask them about flights because we'll be taking care of that, but if they're program only or if it's a program that doesn't have flights included, again, we'll ask them their travel information. Lodging and meals, these are all recording their preferences. What would they like? If we can meet their preferences, we will, but it's all, you know, kind of a preference-based, not a guarantee. We ask them, of course, about their meals and room type, bed configuration, and so forth. And we have a delight section. These are the questions that we ask to learn a little bit more about the participants, special occasions, why did they pick the program, what other hobbies and things of that nature, what was their occupation, are they still working, etc. Are they the first of their generation to attend Rhodes Scholar programs, or perhaps their parents attended or their grandparents? We're trying to track what generation they are, so to speak, the number of programs they've attended, etc. And then if you have entered notes, both at the participant level or for just that program, they would appear on the report as well. So the idea is that over time, the more and more people that have the online information, this will all be pre-populated. If you have a few straggler forms, you can take this report and your hard copy forms for those people who don't want to do it online or just enrolled late or whatever the situation. So you'll have a comprehensive file, if you will, to take with you on your program and share with vendors or other people responsible for the Rhodes Scholar program. Now, one of the other features, of course, is downloading this information. Going back to our reports page, when we first visited the page, we were viewing on screen a program, but you can download the information as well. At this time, we'll probably conclude the session, and I remind you that if you have questions, the operations staff are available to help you out, to point you in the right direction with any questions. Send them some emails. They'll also help them gauge, you know, are there common questions and things that we want to make sure we address.